Imagine Homelander became Emperor of Rome. Not a senator, not a general, Emperor of everything, with a full army and zero accountability. That's basically Nero. Rome thought they downloaded the perfect emperor. Young, charming, handsome, great PR. Turns out they installed malware. Absolute cinema.
This is Nero at the start. He was 16 years old when he became emperor. 16. Rome handed the keys to a teenager and said, "You're in charge of everything." Outstanding leadership from the Senate already. His early reign was actually fine. Good advisors, reasonable decisions. People were relieved. Rome had just survived Caligula. The bar was underground, and Nero cleared it. Everyone relaxed. They should not have relaxed.
Here's the moment things started going wrong. Nero realized that nobody could actually tell him no. He was emperor. There was no HR, there was no board of directors. There was no process for saying, "Sir, that's a terrible idea." Well, there was. It just ended badly for whoever tried. So his advisors started nodding. His generals started agreeing. The Senate started applauding things they hated. And Nero started believing all of it. This is the part of the story where the malware starts running in the background. Nobody notices yet. Everything still looks fine on the outside.
Nero decided he was an artist, not a hobby artist. The greatest artist who had ever lived. Poet, singer, actor, chariot racer. He entered actual public competitions and somehow kept winning. Imagine why. He forced the Senate, the most powerful men in Rome, to sit through his performances for hours. Ancient writers recorded that people faked their own deaths to escape. Women pretended to give birth. Men dropped to the floor and played dead. Who let bro cook? The Senate clapped anyway, every time. Because what else are you gonna do? His mother was Agrippina. She was the one who maneuvered him into power in the first place. She was smarter than him, more experienced, more feared, and she kept reminding him of all three of those things. Nero's solution to having a mother who gave him good advice, he had her killed. He tried 3 times before it worked. The first attempt, a boat designed to collapse and sink her. She swam to shore, so we're just doing crimes now? The second attempt failed. The third, he just sent soldiers. Ancient writers say she saw them coming and told them to aim for her stomach, because that's where she carried Nero. The most devastating exit line in Roman history. Nero did not take the note. 64 AD, Rome catches fire. It burns for 6 days. 10 of Rome's 14 districts destroyed. Hundreds of thousands of people homeless. The city is screaming. And Nero, allegedly, is on a tower, playing his lyre, watching. Ancient writers claimed he sang about the fall of Troy while Rome burned beneath him. For the performance. For the drama. Outstanding leadership. Truly. By now, Rome had realized the malware wasn't a bug. It was the operating system. Rome is ash. People want answers. Nero needs those answers to not involve him. Nero looks around. He points at the one group that definitely didn't start a citywide fire. Outstanding investigation. He persecutes them publicly, brutally. Ancient writers, including ones who weren't Christian, called it excessive. When Roman historians in 64 AD are telling you to calm down, you have gone too far. The people of Rome watched this happen. They were not reassured. They were watching a man burn his own house down and blame the furniture. His personal life, if you were in it, was a disaster. First wife Octavia, divorced on false charges, exiled, executed. Second wife, Poppaea, pregnant. He kicked her. She did not survive. He then had a man named Sporus castrated because Sporus resembled Poppaea and married him. Ancient HR would have had questions. Ancient HR would have had so many questions. There was no ancient HR. This is the problem. By the end, Nero had worked his way through everyone. His mother, gone. His advisors, replaced with people who only agreed with him. The senators who questioned him, dead or exiled. His generals, quietly planning a coup. He had started his reign surrounded by the most powerful people in Rome. He ended it completely alone, in a room full of people who hated him.
saying nothing, clapping on schedule. This is what happens when you remove every person who tells you the truth. You don't get peace and quiet, you get a room full of liars and an army that's already switched sides.
68 AD, the generals revolt. The Senate declares him a public enemy. The man who was emperor of the known world is now hiding in a villa with 4 people left who are still loyal. He decides to take the way out. He cannot do it. He tries, he fails, he panics. He has to ask his secretary to help him. His last words, according to ancient writers, what an artist the world is losing. He said this about himself, unironically, with his last breath. That is either the most tragic thing in Roman history or the most on-brand exit possible. Probably both.
Rome wanted a hero. They got a teenager with a lyre and no supervision. They installed malware. It ran for 13 years. It burned a city. It played music while the city burned. It blamed someone else. It called itself the greatest artist who ever lived. And the worst part? Rome could not uninstall it. They had to wait for it to crash.